Before we start this video, I just wanted to say a quick thank you for choosing to watch this video. It's not easy putting these videos together, so I do appreciate you being here and choosing to watch. So like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. If you like the video, share it with your friends, share it with your family, anyone who supports Tottenham. All right, let's go. Good morning, Tottenham Hotspur fans. How are you doing on this Sunday afternoon? This Sunday morning, even. It's 10 a.m. here where I live, so it must be 8 a.m. if you live in the UK, which is a very early start for a YouTube show. Most people go live around about 9:30, the earliest, and then some at lunchtime, some at 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 10 p.m. Nobody really goes live at 8 a.m. in the UK, but it's not 8 a.m. here. It's 10 a.m. Thank you for being here. Smash a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good weekend. Hope you're having a good Sunday, starts your day. And I hope you're enjoying life with the people that matter to you. I hope Tottenham's treating you well. I hope England's treating you well. If you don't support England, I hope your national team is treating you well. If your national team's not in the World Cup, I hope someone somewhere is treating you well. At least one person. But regardless, glad you're here. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's see who's with us. I'm not sure we're going to get a big crowd this morning. It is a very early start. But nonetheless, we're going to do what we do. RNB Yido. Morning, Stel. Good morning to you as well. Hope you're doing well. SGC 101. Big up. Tonali official statement is delayed by Newcastle. Hijack. I think that wasn't that a parody or some kind of joke? We'll get into it because I've seen a few things. I'm not too sure about that one. Logan THFC, good morning, Stel. Big up to you as well, my man. Hope you're doing well. Ronnie's in the house. What are you saying, Ronnie? Hope you're doing well. Coys, Grant Davidson 3101 replying to the SGC 101. No, they are just delaying it because otherwise both Tonali and Fernandes don't get the hype they deserve. So it's hype tactics. Spurs are back. What's his name on TalkSport? Jamie O'Hara. Spurs are back. Spurs are back. We'll wait and see if we're back or not. Ted Lasso Spurs. How are you, Coys? Spurs Rule 44. Tonali deal hijacked by Arsenal. Could you imagine the scenes? Could you imagine the scenes? I think Tonali's coming to Spurs, guys. It's a done deal. I wouldn't believe that there's a hijack coming. Well, you can believe it because anything's possible. I just don't think it is going to happen. As in, I don't think he's going to be hijacked by another club. I think he's going to be a Tottenham Hotspur player. Cal 1882, morning, Stel. Good morning to you as well. Nez _5523. Hi, Stel. Evening from Malaysia. Coys. So it's the evening in Malaysia. Good evening to you from Malaysia. Nick Rekis. Hold on, I made a mess of this. Nick Rerekis. I should know that. That's a Greek name, and I've absolutely made a mess of it. Nigo, as we say. Evening from Melbourne. Of course, it's evening over there as well, because if it's evening in Asia, it's probably going to be evening in Australia as well. Good evening, or Kalispera, should I say. Spurs offside. Good evening from Fiji. We've got... So if I go live at 8 a.m., all the Malaysian, Asian, Australian, Fiji Spurs fans come alive. Brilliant. I'm going to do this more often. Spurs offside. Good evening from Fiji. Good evening to you, sir. I hope you're doing well. One Bryce is enough. Another Australian joins us. How long do you give it before Ronnie has your manager, not mine, sacked, Stel? What are we doing? We've only just started the show. What are we doing, people? Grant Davidson. Hype is probably the wrong word. Ha, ha, ha. But you know, like, if you just put out Tonali right after Fernandes, it might make Fernandes feel that he hasn't got the spotlight. Okay. I see what we're saying. You never know. It's possible. I doubt it. I just think there's a hiccup or there's some kind of delay in the payment structure. Maybe Newcastle want a little bit of the contract just clarified slightly. Could be one of anything. Could be one of many things, should I say. Hi, Stel. I'm in North Queensland. Another Australian. Big up to the Queensland Massive. Swazi Coyle. Hi, Stel. Hope you're good from Ireland. Big up the Irish inside. I've been to Ireland, actually. I've been to Cork. I've been to Dublin. I've been to the north of Ireland, to Belfast, and to a place called, oh my God, what's it called? Right at the top where they do sailing. I forgot the name. Oh my God, right, hold on. We can't carry on the show until I've done it, until I've found the name of this place. Otherwise, I'm going to be very, very, very much occupied as to why I've forgotten the name of this place. Right, hold on, here it is. I've got the map of Ireland here. This won't take long. Oh, Northern Ireland, shall I say. Don't want to confuse the two. It's Dublin. Portrush, that's it. A place called Portrush. Big up to you. Hope you're doing well. It's just after 5 p.m. here still. What time is it in Cyprus? It's just turned 10 a.m. in the morning. Morning still from South Africa. We need a winger now. Great barbecue. Great barbecue in South Africa. Really good. In fact, there's a South African restaurant in Cyprus 20 minutes from here, and it's just meat. And they're very good. Check it out. Go on the internet. Type in The Lodge Paphos. Have a look at it. Hi from Southwest London. What part of Southwest London are you from, Lee? Which part of the capital are you from? Still, have you visited Malaysia? Yes. I've been to JB and Kuala Lumpur. I was in Singapore and we drove into Malaysia. I was only there for like 2-3 days, though. It wasn't a long trip. So I never got to see too much. How's the weather in Cyprus? Is it bad as the UK heat wave? It's very sticky. It's very humid. It's hot. But we have the sea. We have the beach. And we have the wind from the ocean that cools you down once in a while. So I'd say it's probably a little bit better than the UK. Terry O'Shea, my man, my protester, my Enoch out. How you doing? Big up. Where are you in Cyprus, Stel? I am in Paphos, otherwise known as Buffer. Streatham, to be precise. Do you know I had a girlfriend from Streatham once? Swear to God. I was about 18 years old. Used to go to a nightclub down there called Caesars. Because it was Streatham, Balham, Tooting, isn't it? I remember. I know Streatham well. I know your manor very well, but a long, long time ago. I don't know if Caesars nightclub is still there. Probably not. It was a seedy place, if I'm honest with you. But that pretty much sums it all up. Anyway, enough of the good mornings, hellos, how are yous? Smash a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You know the drill by now. Let's have a conversation. Tottenham Hotspur on transfer fire. Fire. So the big one began with Michael Bridge telling us that Tottenham have agreed a deal to sign Mateus Fernandes from West Ham, £85 million, preparing to go for undergo medical. Man United were also after him, but hey, they weren't prepared to pay the money. Spurs were, so we got the player they did not. Apparently, Man United want players who really, really want to play for United, and his preference was not clear, which means somehow Spurs turned his head. Who would have thought? United will continue to remain patient, blah, blah, blah. Who cares about United? So that's how the story began. And then it wasn't too long before Romano, ITK1, dropped the bomber. Here we go. Tottenham have agreed a club record, 85 million, fixed fee. West Ham accept the price they've always asked for, 100% guaranteed. So there you have it. Now, I don't want to put it down on things. I don't want to be Mr. Negative. I don't want to be the guy that hates Tottenham, because that's what I get called. You know, I hate Tottenham. I'm negative. I'm an Arsenal fan, apparently, even though I go to Well, I used to go to Spurs games, but I'm in Cyprus now. The thing is, this is a lot of money. Right? So I shouldn't really care because it's not my money. What do I care? It's not my money. It's Tottenham's money. However, I believe when you spend big in one place, it prevents you from spending big elsewhere. Now, I could be massively wrong with this. I want to make sure you all understand this because I do get misunderstood quite frequently. Spurs could go and spend £400 million this window. Unthinkable, unheard of. Well, what Liverpool did last summer, Spurs could easily go and do in Liverpool this year. None of us expected it. None of us thought it was going to happen. Nobody saw us spending this kind of money on players, right? So Spurs could go and spend £400 million out of nowhere. Or Spurs could actually spend about 250 million, which is what we normally do, and then sell players to try and get money in to balance the books, maybe buy a few more players. So my concern with this deal, guys, and it's not negativity, it's a conversation. I'm a contrarian. I like to challenge in order for us to have standards and to have a sense of criteria that we meet. I believe the most amount of money that we spend in the transfer window should be spent on the attackers. Because I think the biggest weakness at Tottenham, it's not the defence, it's not the midfield. Although the defence needed some sprucing up, the midfield definitely needed fixing. But for me, the biggest problem at Tottenham is that front three. The Mawani, Tell, Odebert, Solanke, Richarlison. I think the whole thing is guff. I think the whole thing is so underwhelmingly sucking in fans into thinking it was better than what it was. And I remember a lot of fans, they were like, yes, Tell, yes, Solanke, yeah, Richie. And I remember just, what are we doing? What are we doing? That all needs to be replaced for me. Now, it might not all get done this window. It might take a couple of years, but it all needs to go. So I want to see the big money, the 85 million, the 100 million on forwards, goal scorers, because that is our problem. When De Zerbi became manager, right, check this out. We conceded 7 goals and we scored 8. So our problem wasn't the defense. We conceded less than what we scored. So we had a +1 goal difference. Our issue was we weren't scoring enough goals. Under Thomas Frank, we conceded more than what we scored. So the problem was the defense. Well, the attack also needed fixing, but the defense was conceding a lot of goals. De Zerbi's actually shored up the defense before Senesi, before Van Heck, before Robertson. So yes, the defense needs work, but the attack was the problem. And you saw it. If it wasn't for Paulinho, our number 6, we would have been fucked, absolutely fucked. So back to Fernandes. I'm just worried we're spending big money on players in positions and we're not spending the big money on the positions that we badly need to address. So I'm not against Fernandes. I don't hate Fernandes. I don't sit here going, I don't want Fernandes. What a waste of money. No, that's not what I'm saying. If we go and spend £150 million on 2 really good goal scorers, then what I'm saying now doesn't matter. It's fine. We spent 85 on Fernandes. We spent 100 million on Tonali. It's absolutely fine because we've addressed the biggest problem and we've spent big money addressing it. So with Fernandes, 85 million, I think it's a risk because he's only 21 and he doesn't really have a lot of output. But people say, but it's not his job to have output. You know, it's not his job to be scoring goals and getting assists. But it's interesting, though, because when you look at Fernandes, all right, and you compare him to Bentancur, Archie Gray and Tonali, Fernandes has got more goals and more assists, but he's also played a lot more minutes. Fernandes has played something like 2,000 minutes. Bentancur has played 1,500, Archie Gray 1,400. So What I've noticed is when you look at goals and assists, per minutes played, so if you were to let Archie Gray and Bentancur play the same amount of minutes as Fernandes, the goals and assists are all equal. They all level out. And that for me says, well, hold on a minute. What have we spent £85 million on? If Bentancur and Archie Gray have the same output, but then I'm told it's not about output. It's about him being more creative and more skillful. So I looked a bit more into his creativity and into his skillfulness. Definitely more skillful than Bentancur. Definitely more skillful than Archie Gray. No question of a doubt. But that final pass, that linking up the play, do you know, passing-wise, Bentancur is better. Bentancur's better. And Archie Gray, he's only 2% off of Fernandes. So Fernandes is, I think, at 89%. Archie Gray's at 87, 86.5, something like that. So again, I look at it and I think, are you really that amazing for us to spend 85 million on a 21-year-old? The big positive, though, is this, all right? This is the big positive. With Fernandes, he's a player who's very, very young and very skillful, which means he hasn't picked up lots of bad habits. He hasn't got lots of baggage that he's carrying because he's a 27-year-old that's done a lot of different, he's been at a lot of different clubs, played under a lot of different managers. He's a player that's young, hasn't picked up lots of bad habits, that a good manager like De Zerbi can develop and nurture into something really, really good. But normally, if you're going to sign a player because you're going to develop them into that top player, you don't spend 85 million. You spend 10 million, 15 million on that potential. So what we've done at Tottenham is we've signed potential at a ridiculously high price. I don't know where it goes, guys. He could turn out to be the next Luka Modric. He could turn out to be the next Danjuma. I've got no idea. I don't know. All I'm saying is I think it's a very risky purchase. I think it's a high-risk signing. But we will see. If De Zerbi wanted him and the club have backed De Zerbi and De Zerbi's got his player, then it's on De Zerbi, right? All we can ask for is the club backs the manager. So if the club have backed the manager, I'm cool with it. So you can see here the difference between Fernandes, Bentancur, Gray and Tonali. Goals, assists, GA, rating. They're all pretty same. Bentancur, Tonali, all pretty same. Archie Gray drops off when it comes to rating, but when it comes to goals and assists, goals, he matches Fernandes. The only thing Fernandes has on all of them is he's played a lot more minutes. And that's been the difference. He's just been given more minutes. But like I said, when it comes to skill, when it comes to raw talent, Fernandes is better than all of them. He's better than all of them. I'm not denying it. He is. When you watch him on the ball, he's far more skillful. Beats a man, glides past a player. He's a talented football player. But there's got to be the output. So just maybe we need to sign some really good attackers for him to feed and see whether he can actually feed them successfully, and then his assists will go up. Or he'll feed the number 10, or he'll feed the wingers to get the assist. Then what I'll be looking for from Fernandes is the assist to the assist. But we'll see. He's very young, and that's the risk. He's very, very young. And he's been relegated with West Ham. He's been relegated with Southampton. He's got relegation continually on his CV. So it's a risk. We'll wait and see. I'm not one of these fans that's just going to go all in. Oh, Fernandes is amazing. What a brilliant signing. Yeah, love him, love him. No, I like to look at all the data. I like to watch, and then I give you my honest opinion. And my honest opinion, and I'll conclude, and then I'll come to the comments because I want to read what you say as well. My honest opinion of Fernandes is very talented, very skillful, output lacking, for his age, he's very, 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 very expensive for someone that hasn't actually done anything. He hasn't actually achieved anything. But he's also young enough and skillful enough that if the right manager can work with him, he could develop into a really good player. Really good. So at 21, he hasn't got baggage that he's carrying, and he hasn't picked up an array of bad habits that are very difficult to reboot, reset, recoach. We'll have to wait and see. That's my opinion, right? That's my opinion. I'm on the fence with it. But if De Zerbi wants him and we have genuinely backed the manager, then, I mean, all I've ever asked for is for us to back managers. So if we're backing managers now, that's a good thing. Let's have a quick look at what you guys think. Big up, Ron. Perfect timing. Use your shows were like early mornings where I'm from. How you doing, Ron? Hope you're right. Okay, Bassi. Morning, Steph. How are you? Missed your content, Bassi. Big up. I'm back. I'm gonna skip through a few comments because I want to see what your comments are with regards to the signing of Fernandes. Right, here we go. So Grant says his passing to link the defense to the attack is class, though. I think this is why it's important, though, to get goal scorers across the front three. Listen, I totally agree. Right, this I totally agree. Although, can I say, passing-wise, Bentancur has outperformed him. I just want to say that Bentancur has outperformed him. 3, 4, all 7, 7. We'll probably see 1 or 2 outgoings next before we bring in Krupi. You know, if we get Krupi, that's a really good signing, you know, because he's versatile. He can play in a couple of positions, and De Zerbi is actually tactically flexible. So to have tactically flexible players only makes the overall team better. And Krupi is a player that's flexible. He's not rigid. He's not one of these players. I can only play in that position. I'm only good in that position. I can't do anything else. ZZ Grom. Still check the data. MB on Bentancur and Fernandes. Mateus is much better. When you say data, what data? Because I don't know what data you're looking at. I look at specific data from what I need to see from the team. So because I know some people have put images up on Twitter, cherry-picked stats. Oh, wow. And this is what I remember Ali Gold did this with Timo Werner, right? Ali Gold put up this set of stats just before the second time we signed Timo Werner. He said, I understand if Tottenham want to keep Werner because I've just been shown some data, and based on the data, I understand why we should maybe keep Werner. And it was number of runs, number of attempted crosses, number of attempted dribbles, and all of this data is like, well, he's really, really good. But what it didn't show is how many of those crosses were successful. How many of those dribbles were successful? How many shots did he have? How many shots were on target? And when you looked at that data, Werner was a mess. And I remember replying to Ali Gold saying, mate, why have you picked that data and ignored all of this? Because when you look at this, it destroys what you've just put up on the internet. No reply, all the usual. Oh, shit. I better go quiet and not talk about this. So ZZ Grom, it depends what data you're looking at, right? I've looked at all the data, and I'm telling you, he's a very talented player, right? I repeat, he's a very talented player. He's a very skillful player. He's young, which means he can be nurtured, right? These are all good things. However, when it comes to output, he's nothing special. And when it comes to the passing of the passing ability, Bentancur's better, and Archie Gray is almost the same. What I will say is his through balls are better than Bentancur. That part of the passing array is better. But in terms of keeping the ball, I'm sorry, he's no better than Archie Gray, and he's not better than Bentancur. Facts. But these are all the pros and the cons. You've got to look at both. I think what's going to happen with Fernandes is this. if the manager can develop him over the next 2-3 years and turn him into a mature midfield 24-year-old that can control a midfield, then the £85 million will have made sense. If not, it's a lot of money that we've spent on a player that's going to end up being all right. So anyway, look, it's all opinions, and it's good that we've all got our opinions, because otherwise we'd have an echo chamber and everyone would just repeat each other and it'd be really boring. We don't want that. Chris, hey, how you doing, Chris? So Chris is a bouzouki player. Ding, ding, and he's very good at it as well. Lives in Cockfosters. How you doing, Chris? How you doing? All right? How you doing? Well. Ryan Trestaine. How you doing, Ryan? Hope you're good. Haven't spoken to you in a while. £10 super chat. Salute. Still, what can Fernandes give us? Not watched him enough, unlike Tonali. I know what we are getting, even though we overspent on Tonali, but it's not my money, so I don't care. He's good enough. What we're getting from Fernandes is a skillful player that can take on players. What we're getting from Fernandes is a player that can actually play through balls. What we're getting from Fernandes is a young, up-and-coming talent that needs to be nurtured and refined. And what we're getting from Fernandes is a player that, like I said, he can beat a player. He's got skill. What we're not getting is an amazing passer. What we're not getting is the finished product. And what we're not getting is a player with high output. But a lot of fans will say it's not his job to have output. I think the whole team needs to have output. I believe the best teams, everyone scores in the front and in the midfield. The defense, they get a bit of a bye because they defend more. But it's a risk. For me, it's a risk. But again, a lot of signings are risks. But for 21 years old, it's a lot of money. And I just hope it doesn't take away from spending on the attackers. If we only have like 50, 60 million or 80 million to spend on 3 attackers, I'm going to be pissed off, because that's the most important thing that needs to be fixed. And if we've gone and spent it on Fernandes and Tonali, it's going to be frustrating. It's really going to wind me up. But again, let's wait and see. Because if we sell Romero for 50 million, if we sell Dragusin for 20 million, if we sell Pape Sarr for 20 million, suddenly we've got another £100 million to spend. So I guess that's how you fund the forward line. But Ryan, big up to you, my man. Thank you for the super chat. Still, do you really think we can bring in Krupi? Yes, I do. For one reason and one reason only. Iraola has left Bournemouth, and I think for a number of Bournemouth players, they might be thinking, you know what, maybe it's time for me to move as well. I think if Iraola was still there, taking them into Europe next season, I think a lot of those players would have probably stayed. But at the same time, Tottenham, we seem to be splashing the cash. We're paying bigger salaries, and money talks. Players like money. It's a job for them. And if you pay them the money, they tend to come. That's normally how it works. And if you disagree, look at Chelsea, Man City. For the last 10, 15 years, they've managed to bring in players by just giving them the money. So, yeah, I do, Logan. I do think we can get Krupi. And I think that's the kind of signing that I would say, yeah, now we're talking in terms of the attackers, right? Next year, the North London derby will be interesting. We're not losing 4-1, right? That's for sure. By the way, cheers. Morning cup of tea. Oh, man. Do you know, I'm such a tea man. A lot of people like coffee. I'm the tea man. I do like a cup of tea. I'm not saying he's going to be quality, though. We'll just have to wait and see. This is my point. This is my exact point. I do think we need to wait and see. Rodney Martin, big up to all the coys. Grant Davidson, yeah, Bentancur isn't bad at passing. I think he isn't as mobile as Fernandes. I agree with that. Did you check who covered the most ground? Would be interesting to see. Feels like Fernandes covers more by eye. There weren't too much difference. There wasn't too much difference with that Grant Davidson. Sorry, man. Do you know what it is? Grant Nelson, he produces a lot of music that I buy. Old school garage and house. So when I see Grant, I always think of Grant Nelson anyway. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. Oh boy, Ropesy, how you doing? I'd rather have someone like Yildiz than Krupi. Listen, Yildiz is outstanding. Yildiz is off the charts, but we're not going to get him, are we? The reality is we're just not going to attract Yildiz. We've got to be realistic as well. I mean, if we could get Yildiz, Jesus Christ. Arctic Spurs, big up, Stel. Big up to you as well. Tottenham Therapy in the house, big up, Stel. Hope you're well. Hope you're well. Foggy Martin, how are you, Foggy? I don't mind overspending to get players this manager wants. I don't think we get these guys if we Spurs don't at the moment. Hold on. I don't mind overspending to get players this manager wants. Agreed. I don't think we get these guys. Are you saying you don't think we get these guys if we don't spend big? Is that what you're trying to say? Big up Stel sitting in the pool in Greece. Ah, I love her. Mate, get yourself a nice gyros and a nasty shot of ouzo. Mate, ouzo is so rank. Big up to you in Greece, by the way, Ian. Stel, can you make me understand the hype on Buturina? Is the hype worth it? Because for me, his stats and goals. Look, Bryce, all I'm going to say is this. I've looked at a lot of players this summer, and I've done my own personal research. And my thinking is this. One of the biggest problems we had last year was output. Right? We lacked output. So I think we've got to look at output. We can't ignore it. I'm not saying just look at stats. It's all stats. We need to look at the player play football as well, the eye test. But the thing with stats is they don't lie. And most of the time, stats give you an indication as to what you should expect to see with your eyes. And quite often, they correlate. So for me, if the output isn't great and the stats are questionable, it's red flags. These are red flags. And if you disagree with me, anyone listening, when we signed Solanke, everyone said, oh, he's got 19 goals. He scored 19 goals. And I said, right, can we just look at his history? He's never scored more than 6 or 7 goals in any season. And he had one season at Bournemouth. He was like 26 or 27 years old, something like that. He's got 19 goals. To me, this is a purple patch player. He's not a consistent goal scorer and he's not an assistant creator. He had one really good season. The stats tell a different story. And people say, oh, stats this, stats that. It's the eye test. Okay. Solanke came to Tottenham. How has it panned out? What has happened with Solanke? Everything that I was suggesting about, look at the data, that's exactly been replicated during his tenure at Tottenham. That one season at Bournemouth was a purple patch. So I think you do have to look at data and you do have to look at output because it's such a good indicator as to what to expect, which is why I sit here as one of the only YouTubers and probably the only YouTuber saying, guys, I think Fernandes is a big risk. But he's young enough to be nurtured. I don't know which way it's going to go because that's what the data shows me. So to answer your question, Bryce, is he worth the hype? No, he's not. But we've also got to factor in that, and you know what? This is where I'm going to contradict myself, guys, right? I'm going to be very, very balanced here. If a manager sees something, they're looking for something very specific. Like, I don't know exactly what De Zerbi's looking for. None of you lot do either. Nor do the people on Twitter. Nor do any other YouTuber. Nor do I. None of us know specifically the exact detail of what De Zerbi's looking for. He might just be looking for one thing from a player. I need a really good left-footed player with a 50-yard range of diagonal passing. He's got to have that in his locker. He must have that because that's something that is going to be important to the way we play. For example, so maybe he looks at Fernandes and Fernandes has got that one thing he's looking for. Maybe Buturina, Bryce, has got this one thing that De Zerbi's looking for. And therefore, the output doesn't matter as much because he's got something that is part of the piece of the puzzle that De Zerbi's building. Like, we don't know. A good example is Mohamed Salah. Was dropped by this club, dropped by that club. Nobody really wanted him. Then Jurgen Klopp and the Liverpool recruitment team looked at Salah and said, he's got something that we need. And they brought Salah to Liverpool. The rest is history. Mohamed Salah is now an all-time Premier League great football player. But a lot of other clubs said, nah, you've come here, not good. But if the right manager spots the right ingredient in a player, because that manager knows what he's cooking, it changes the direction, right? I hope I explained that well. For me, I always look at output. I think it's important. But at the same time, I also understand that managers, they're looking for something specific as well that we don't know. And because we don't know that, it's hard for us to make a real judgment. So that's where I'm at with it. Big up, John. Use the website called Data MB. Very good. Yeah, I look at that as well. It is a good. That is one of the better ones, to be honest with you. It's better. That is Data MB, John, is better than FootMob. So the worst one of all is SofaScore, guys. If you can avoid looking at SofaScore, you're doing well. That's probably one of the worst data-driven stat sites out there. It's not rubbish, but it's not the levels. Nez, still, what do you expect next season if we sign Leao, Krupi, Savinho, top four? I'll tell you right now. If we get Leao, who I did a video on my channel, by the way, Leao is top. Krupi, top. Savinho is risky. Again, output, but skillful, can be nurtured. If we sign those three, yeah, I expect top four. With Tonali, Fernandes behind, and you've got the defense sorted. One game a week. Nez, this is the big thing for me. It's one game a week. We saw Man United go from 16th to 3rd by signing Sesko, Cunha, and Mbeumo. And I don't know if you've noticed, guys, right? I don't know if any of you realised all the players we've signed so far. Oh, Ben Davies, Robertson, Senesi, Dubravka, Van Heck, Tonali, Fernandes. All of them have got one thing in common. They've all got Premier League experience. All of them know what to expect. All of them have played in the Premier League. All of them don't need this settling in time, adapt to the league. No, they've adapted. They're Premier League players. And that means we should start the season pumping, kicking off pretty strong because there's no adaptability period. They're all Premier League players. So on that basis, with one game a week, and if we sign the players you've listed there, I think top four is on. I genuinely believe top four is on. One game a week. Why not? Do I think we'll get it? Different conversation. But I think top four will be the target. Surely our signings will make further signings a bit easier, building momentum. I think it helps attract other players. I think if you go and approach a really good striker and you say, look, we've just signed this guy, we've just signed that guy, we're just doing this, we're spending money, we're giving high wages, and yeah, 100%. No doubt about it. Big up to everyone in the chat. There's loads of big ups everywhere. You permanently in Cyprus. I'm doing 1 year, and if I like it, I'm going to stay. But I'll tell you this, if it doesn't work out for me, I'm not coming back to the UK. I've had a taste of Mediterranean life, and I'll tell you what, at this stage of my life, at this age, yeah, this is the place to be. So I'll go to Spain or Portugal, Italy, Greek islands, Malta. There's lots of places in the Mediterranean, but I think the Mediterranean's for me, man. Just suits me now. Is anyone joining you on the stream? I've invited people, but oh, by the way, I can let you know something now. Starting next season, fingers crossed, every Monday, I'm going to be going live in the evening with the old band. The band is back together. Maz, JP, Mari, hopefully Iggy. We're going to be back once a week on this channel every Monday. Tottenham Away will be Tottenham Away Ole Ole every Monday, us boys. I've asked them, look, guys, let's do a show together once a week. People have been asking for it. So next season, the band's going to be back together for a weekly show, just the one show, every Monday, the old school slot. And we're going to be delivering the truth bombs and the reality check that we all need each and every week. So there you go. Has De Zerbi got his full coaching squad? I don't know, Nick. I don't know. Arctic Spurs, thank you for the super chat. God bless you. Really appreciate you doing a live show at this time of day. Have a cracking day and best of luck to England and Norway tonight. Are England playing tonight? Oh yeah, they are. 3 a.m. It's 3 a.m. over here. I'm gonna miss it. It's too. I can't stay up till 5 a.m. I've got to be up at 9. Norway have got a tough game, I tell you. That's a tough game for Norway. But Norway doing well. Norway doing well. Big up to Cold Shoz, new member. Thank you for joining the family. Ryan Trestaine. I love Krupi. He's young, but he scores goals. Hope we also get... Listen, Krupi will be a great signing. I've told you that. I agree with you. Leao would be a brilliant signing for Tottenham, but is he going to leave AC Milan? I don't know. Get rid of Gray. Absolutely. Sorry, Lubo. And I don't apologise to Lubo. Lubo owes us an apology. All right? Lubo needs to say sorry to us for grifting. Big up to Lubo. And Richie and Romero. And then, listen, Richarlison, if I see him here next season, I'm done. Watching him play. Can you imagine? We sign all these players and they're feeding Richarlison, who's falling over or trying to con the referee. And yeah, listen, Ryan, I agree. We've got a guest that's just jumped on. The one, the only. Is it Alex or is it Mr. Box Office? He'll let us know. Which one is it?
You know the answer still. You know the answer now. Come on. Come on still. It's Mr. Box Office. You know what I mean? The main event. I'm here to ruin your show because I've got the reputation of ruining shows. You know, because Lubo is the one that said it and Sean said it. And you said the name first, so you can't say that I didn't say anything anyway. So it's your fault. You know what I mean? Because he's lovely. He's darling Archie Gray is still at our club when he should have gone with that Harry Winks impersonator. You know what I mean? You know. So you know what I mean. This is the thing. You know, but. How is it going still on this bright, gloomy Sunday morning?
Look, I'm just going through everything that's happened this week. I've just gone and covered Fernandes. I've still got 2 more to cover. I've got to talk about Tonali, and then I want to talk about us selling Vuskovic. So if you want to say anything about Fernandes, go for it. I've said it's a big risk. I can see it going both ways. I can see it being an expensive flop. I can also see it turning out to be a future star for Tottenham Hotspur if De Zerbi can develop him, because he's got the talent, just needs to be nurtured. But I think it's a big risk as well for a player that hasn't really done much in his career. But he's young. It's a lot. Listen, it's a lot of money for a 21-year-old. A lot. So,
I agree. I'm trying to say less because I've got something special on the channel to say what I really feel about him. A lot of things about the transfer window. So I've been given hints, and I'm working on it. So I'm trying to say less on it, not to spoil what I'm going to do on the channel. But yeah, I think it is a huge risk. It's a huge risk. We've mentioned some of the stuff already on him. But the only person that can prove it, the only person that can change people's minds is Fernandes. The only person that can change everybody's mind is Fernandes. So, you know what I mean? And this is what happens when you're bought for about the money that you're bought for. You've got to deal with it. You've got to deal with it, and if you can deal with it, that's fine. I think it's good that we got the other person that we're not going to talk about. I don't know if we're just coming onto that one anyway. But we're due to announce. So I think the good thing that we got somebody else in that's that could complement him. Maybe that's the thing as well. I think that's important. But yeah, I think that's yeah. Fernandes is my answer is definitely Fernandes is definitely a risk. He's definitely a risk. And it's divided a few people as well, which is not it's not too hard to divide.
I thought most fans are all really super happy that we've signed Fernandes, and everyone's really excited by it. Has it really divided fans?
Well, I think you're right, but the people that question it, they're saying, "Well, are you against it then?" And it's not that we're against Fernandes; it's just there are question marks there, though. There are question marks there, especially about the fee. Can he live up to that fee?
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is for me, Alex? When you sign a young player, 19, 20, 21, 22, kind of that range, when you spend big money, like 85 million, I expect them to be world class. I expect them to be like phenomenal. And I can't say Fernandes is that. I can't, you know. So normally when you spend big money on an up and coming player, it's normally something like 15, 20, 30 million. I think the price. Do you know what I'm worried about? The price tag puts a lot of expectation on him now. Like with Archie Gray, 40 million, big expectation. When really Archie Gray was a 15 million pound player. Let's be honest. So I think the price tag has put a lot of weight of expectation on him, and I don't think that's fair. But then again, if Spurs really, really, really wanted him, like really wanted the player, and that's the price that we have to pay to get him, then haven't we done what we've always said? Just pay the money and get the player.
But it's natural, isn't it? It's natural, isn't it? If you get somebody for that much amount of money, your expectation is very high. That's what happened to Ndombele when we bought him for how much we had before. So you can't hide away from it. You know what I mean? It's like, I think we do the business we do. It changes the outlook on Tottenham a little bit. It says, well, okay, you've spent a lot of money here, so you've got to. There ultimately will be pressure, and it will be pressure on the player. Whether you and this is how the club have to deal with it, you know, to get the output or show the improvement from the player. So, I can't. I don't think it's a big deal really for me that you're putting pressure on the player, because pressure comes with being in the Premier League, playing for a top club like Tottenham. So
that's true.
If you're gonna, and also with Tottenham fans as well, which I do think we are very, what is it now? We keep on. We don't really make sense of situations. We say that we're a big club. We claim we're a big club. But then we give ourselves a lot of excuses as well, you know? And when we do the business, you need to give them time. You know, this season's a write-off. And, maybe we could get top four. And I just think maybe the context is just in the middle, maybe. You know, we could do well because of circumstances, because we've got one game a week. And I mean, 5 of the 6 teams in the top 6 are in transition this season.
Yeah.
So it could be a season like Leicester City, and only one team is not in transition, and that's the champions, Arsenal. But Arsenal, for the first time, are defending the champions. So when you defend the champions, you've got a target on your back, haven't you? So they haven't been in this situation for about 2 decades or something like that. So you don't know how they're going to react to that sort of thing, you know, that sort of pressure. It's a different sort of pressure being champions, isn't it? You know, yes, you've got yourself over the line, but are you going to be able to handle it? The other teams were in transition. So, you know, it's a kind of a very interesting season, you know. You can be realistic as a Tottenham fan, but you can also be optimistic that you can, with the amount of games we're going to have next season, that we could get into Europe this season. You know, I'm more on the side of caution, saying 10th. But going back onto Fernandes, this is where the expectation comes into it. You know what I mean? And for me, this is why I say that the only person that can prove people wrong and change people's minds is Fernandes. That's the only person, and the players as well, that they can help him settle in and make him feel comfortable and make him show that he can excel as well. So that's what it's always been like. Still, it's always been like that. But because we're very invested in Tottenham, but I don't see it. I don't just see our side. I look at it where rivals say it as well. Because I've been on rivals channels and they'll say the same. They'll say these things and question these things because they've got no attachments, so they're going to question it. Because they see Tottenham fans getting really big headed about the transfer window and stuff. What if we don't do well the first couple of games? What's the going to be reaction then? You know what I mean? Especially Fernandes, specifically on Fernandes, because we were talking about Fernandes.
Do you know something though? One thing about, I was saying this before you jumped on. Every single player we've signed this window, every single one, have all come from the Premier League. They've all got Premier League experience. They don't need time to settle in. They don't need time to adapt. They don't need time to understand the league. They don't need time to know what to expect when they play Arsenal, when they play Bournemouth, when they play Crystal Palace. No, they know. They all know. So there's no bedding in period. Rome wasn't built in a day. Let's be patient. There's none of that. It's, hold on. You're a Premier League player. Like, you played more than 2 years in the Premier League minimum. You get it. So I think we're actually going to hit the ground running. I think we're going to start well. I don't think we're going to go and lose 3-4 games at the beginning. I think we've got a team of players that all understand the Premier League.
That might be likely. And also, most of them will come back in pre-season as well, depending on whether they finish the World Cup, where they finish in the World Cup. Because I know some of them might be in the later stages of the World Cup, so they might come back later. But Tonali, Fernandes, they can come straight into the team, come into pre-season because they're not in the World Cup. Andy Robertson will have a few games, but I don't know if he's injured. And Van Heck will have a few weeks off, but he'll be back soon because he's out the World Cup right now and around the 32. So yeah, most of them are back. I think it's the only concern at the moment is the attack, and I think that's the only concern at the moment. But we're hoping that we can get some signings in. Whether we're going to rate those signings, and that's it really for me. But you're all right; they've got Premier League experience, and most of them will be back for pre-season as well. So at least they will have some time during the pre-season and pre-season tours to work with De Zerbi, isn't it? Really, and what he wants to do. Going forward for next season. So it is very positive, especially with Fernandes. Fernandes will have time to settle in as well and learn what his role will be going forward in the team. So yeah, we have to wait and see.
Let's talk about this guy. Sandro Tonali. So the bomber came. Oh, we love bombers. We love a bomber. Here we go. Romano reported Tottenham agreed record deal. Another record. So the record was Fernandes. We broke that record with the new record. Tonali from Newcastle to Tottenham, £100 million. And it's not yet been announced. There are some rumours that there's a hijack, but I think it's all just for the drama. Newcastle delayed it for whatever reason. It's just most probably a technicality, but Tonali's coming to Spurs, 100 million. My question is this, right? I want Tonali. I was one of those people. A couple of weeks ago, Alex, I was saying he's a progressive player. He conducts the play. He's not a controller. He's not a player that dictates the play. He's never been that player, but he can make a team tick, and he's very adaptable. So you had all these tacticos on Twitter, right? I can't stand these tacticos because they hide their face. So they can just spout whatever nonsense they want, and there's no accountability because you can't see who they are. And they were saying, Tonali doesn't suit Tottenham. He doesn't fit our tactics, as if they understand De Zerbi's tactics and what De Zerbi's going to do. But the thing with Tonali is he's one of the most tactically adaptive players in the league for a midfielder. So if you can tactically adapt, how are you tactically not fitting into the Spurs system. It makes no sense. He can adapt. That's what's so great about Tonali. So I'm all for Tonali. I think it's a top signing. I get why we've got him. It makes sense. However, right, there's always a however. I've got to do a however, otherwise we've got nothing to talk about. Do you think, Alex, he's in the league of these players? The other £100 million players, Harry Kane and Declan Rice? Or should we say, I don't care how much he costs, it's not my money? Because when you think of £100 million, I'm expecting elite. And I'll be honest with you, Alex. I'll be honest. It's just my opinion. I really like Tonali. I'm glad he's at Tottenham. I'm all for it. He's not in the league of Declan Rice, and he's not in the league of Harry Kane, in my view. Those players are in a different league. Tonali is very good, but Declan Rice is world class. Harry Kane is world class. Tonali is not a world class player. He's a very, very good player, though. Very good.
He's a good player.
100 million. Is that, have we paid over the odds? Do we care? Do we even care? Does anyone give a shit?
Well, no, because you'd argue that to De Zerbi, he's £100 million player to him. He wanted him. He said to the club that whatever it takes, get to Tonali. So to him, he would say he's £100 million because he says, well, he's going to be my main guy. To others, maybe not. And yeah, to answer the question about if he's better than Rice and on the same level as Rice and Kane, no, I don't think so, because I think also the fact is that he's been off because of that ban that he had as well. So, you know, he was off for quite a while, wasn't he, for a period because of the ban, the betting ban, I think it was. So that started his career as well. So yeah, I listen. He's better than what we've got, and I don't agree with this whole thing about he can't dictate the tempo, because if you watch him at AC Milan, I've seen it. I've seen clips of it. He has done it. He has done it. He does spread the play. He has done it. It's just that he had a different role at Newcastle. He had a different role at Newcastle.
Hold on. 1 minute. Sorry, Alex. Sorry. Declan Rice isn't world class. What are we doing here? What are we doing? I know we hate Arsenal, right? I know we hate that team from South London. Declan Rice is class, mate. He carried Arsenal to that league title this year. He has been a sensation in the Champions League in big games for them this year. Mate, Declan Rice is class. What are we doing? Alex, do you think Declan Rice is world class?
He's a very, 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 very good player.
Alex, for his position.
Yeah, but yeah, for what he gives. Yeah, I think he's very good in his position.
You don't think he's world class for his position?
Listen,
no. Everyone else in the chat is saying no. I'm on my own.
I'm not. The world class thing is fun about a lot. I look at Harry Kane, definitely world class, because he's turned himself into. He's definitely close, I think.
Alex, Declan Rice carried West Ham with Bowen to winning their first.
Oh yeah, no. There's no doubt. There's no doubt about it.
He's carried Arsenal to their first league title.
Yeah, he's definitely had an influence, and maybe that is the case. Maybe that is definitely the case. I don't like throwing that term around a lot. I just think it's that term that really, like, if I'm talking about world class, I'm looking on the okay, so maybe you could say he's world class, because you can look at players, you can look at the greats like Messi, Ronaldo, Iniesta. They're elite. You know what I mean? Because there's another level that is elite, isn't it? So maybe you can say he's world class, because he has effectively one helped West Ham get to like win Europa League, Europa Conference League. I mean, and effectively he was a big influence in Arsenal's victory in the league as well. So yeah, you can say that possibly. You can say that possibly because I just don't put him up with the greats. I just don't put him up with the greats. That's the thing.
But for the position he plays, he's not. He doesn't.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's world class for his position. Yeah.
By the way, Raya is also world class. I think Ray is world class as well. I think Arsenal have got 2 or 3 world class players. By the way, that's why they're league champions. I think they've got a few world class players. I hate to say it, I can't stand them. I mean, the highlight of my season was PSG beating Arsenal in the Champions League, right?
Well, they needs to be. What
was the highlight of my season?
They needs to be. I had to let them get them to beat Arsenal because honestly, it was hell after they won the league. From that moment they won the league until like Europa, until that parade, I couldn't get away from Arsenal fans. So yeah, moving on from that, but yeah, it was a nightmare, absolute nightmare. And if they won that Champions League, it would just been like.
I knew they weren't going to win it. I knew they weren't going to win it. Arsenal's history in Europe is shocking. They wouldn't. The only thing we have as Spurs fans, over Arsenal, the only thing is we have got European pedigree. We do. They don't. They will never ever be Tottenham in Europe, but we will never be them in the league. So, Maz, hear me out, right? You're saying Rice is great, but he's not the level of Modric, Dembele, Lampard, and Gerrard. Modric played as a number 10. Lampard and Gerrard would box-to-box attacking midfielders. Declan Rice, he's that protective layer in front of the back 4 who can get forward, right? I think Declan Rice is a different player to all the players you've listed. For me, for the position, and this isn't the complete player, like he can do multiple things. For the position Rice plays, who is better than Declan Rice in the world right now for that position, for that specific position? I think he's class, man. All right, let me ask you this question. Who would you pick, Alex, to join Tottenham tomorrow? Declan Rice or Tonali?
Declan Rice, yes.
Hey, yeah. For me, it's a no-brainer. I'm picking Declan Rice all day long.
Yeah. I think the thing that Declan Rice has got over him is that he's had more years at West Ham and at Arsenal. If Tonali didn't have that ban, I don't know. That's the thing. He can do everything.
Tonali had years playing midfield for AC Milan.
I know. But I'm just saying in the Premier League, like, you know what I mean? Because we've seen a lot of Declan Rice in the Premier League, haven't we?
All right, let me ask you another question. Would you take Tonali or Guimaraes from Newcastle?
Guimaraes.
So that's 2 players already better than Tonali, Guimaraes and Declan Rice.
Yeah, Guimaraes definitely. I say that, and I do like Guimaraes. He can do everything, and he can dictate play as well. I think the way that Eddie Howe's got him playing in the role, I think you don't see the actual best of him actually dictating the pot because I think they're very pragmatic. Newcastle, aren't they? You know what I mean? They play more on the counter, don't they? So I say that, and I think you can see a lot more of him, to be honest with you. But it's just the role that he has at Newcastle. I think you see a side of him that is very more pragmatic. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's where I'm at the moment with him. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at with him anyway. But I do think he's he's a very good player. He is a very good player. And for the money that they got him for, I thought that was quite good as well, to be honest with you. So yeah, that's why I think it's a good. It was a good. Yeah, he's a very good player. Very good player. But they're all good players. I understand the point though. Still, I understand the point what he's making though. Because this is now down to preference now. Really, like when you look at those players, I don't rate most of these players right now to what the players were back then. Dembele was just an absolute beast. An absolute beast. Um, he could do everything. Gerrard was very good as well. And Lampard was very good for his position as well. Getting goals as well. That's the main thing as well. Goals. And Gerrard, goals. You know? So I see his point. I see his point. You know what I mean? Because I think there's a threshold, but certain people don't just, they're not going to just give it away. You get what I'm saying? So, say, oh, everyone's world class. Because, some people just got that threshold where they think, I don't think it's, there's a threshold for them. They're not too trigger happy saying, "Oh, he's world class" after doing a couple of seasons and stuff. They look at the greats previously and they say, "Well, is he good than those players? Better than those players?" And most of them, I don't think they are, to be honest with you. But he's very good for his position, though, right? So I'll give him that, and he's world class for his position, yeah. But I see his point. I see the guy's chat's point, definitely.
I don't know, man. People think Arsenal won the league because everyone was rubbish. Arsenal they've come second like 3 years in a row. And then this summer they bought Eze, they bought Zubimendi, they bought Gyökeres, and they bought Hincapié. And they just basically had the best squad. So when injuries happened, when suspensions happened, they were the team that could deal with it the best in multiple competitions because they built a squad. And where Man City had injuries and suspensions, their squad couldn't cope this year. Why? Because Arsenal had built a better squad. Took them 6 years and over £1 billion. But that's why Arsenal won the league. They had the best squad. Yeah, they got lucky with some decisions. Yeah, the whole VAR, PGMOL conversation comes into it. But, mate, they came second. Bottle jobs again, ole, ole. Bottle jobs again, ole, ole. Then this year, they cooked, man. They cooked. And you know what? Whatever we say, I remember when we didn't get Eze. Oh, we're better off without him. Eze's not even all that. Eze destroyed us twice when we played Arsenal. Eze ripped us a new one twice. So I would love Eze at Tottenham. I'd take Eze at Tottenham all day long. But back to Spurs. Are you happy with Tonali, Alex? Do you think it's a good signing? I think it's a good signing. I think it's a very good signing.
It's a good signing. I'm surprised that we got a deal like that over the line, but it's quite clear now that whatever De Zerbi wants, he gets, and it's the De Zerbi effect that's got him over the line. So, yeah, it definitely is a game changer in terms of quality of player because he's definitely better than what we've got, 100%. It's just interesting to see what De Zerbi wants to do with him because he will be our main player in that team this season. Because, like I said. Yeah, Tonali, because if you're paying, like I said on the show yesterday, if you're paying £100 million for a player, you ain't just getting him to be a bit part player. You're not doing that.
Could you imagine, Alex? We get into September, and then we get this breaking news: Tonali hamstring out for 6 months, or ACL out for 9 months. How quickly will the mood change and everyone's opinions from top 4? Actually, no, we're going to get 10th now. Actually, we're not going to get top 4. No, we're going to get 10th. It's such a massive, expensive signing that. Do you know what though? Saying that, Alex, do you know what? If Arsenal lost Declan Rice, the same shit would happen to them as well. They don't have a proper replacement for Declan Rice either. They don't. Not that level of player. They don't. Like you can say they've got. Look at Man City with Rodri. As soon as Rodri's injured, that midfield falls apart. It just can't cope. It's the same thing, isn't it? If you lose your most expensive players, I think every team feels the impact.
Well, Arsenal are looking at other signings, aren't they? They're looking at Rodgers. And they're looking at Gameras as well. So, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, yeah, if you lose your players, you're going to be in trouble. And that will be a problem for Tottenham because he is going to be our main player this season. He will be our main player this season, and it will be a bit of a worry if he does that. But I don't think he's had that many injuries in as a Newcastle player, hasn't he? Yeah,
Tonight,
yeah. No, don't do that. Still, come on now. We're all adults now. We can take it.
no, he's joking with me. I'm joking with him.
Oh, I'm joking. Yeah. I know. But don't be a softie like some of these Tottenham fans are. You know what I mean?
He said to me, "Don't jinx it with Tonali by talking about injuries." I'm like, shh.
No, I don't care. I don't care if it happens. It happens. I've got to that point now. Or like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? We just got to get on with it. But the main thing is, I don't think he has had the only reason why he's been out is because of that ban. So
He's not had a long-term injury, Tonali.
No, he hasn't. So
let's double check. Let's double check that before I start saying things.
I don't think he has anyway. So the main thing is that on Tonali is that he will be our main player this season. It's just interesting to see what sort of role is he going to do because he can do everything. He can dictate the play. I've seen it, right? So he can do that. He can. What is it? He can press and be that player, that battering ram. He can be that defensive midfielder. He can do everything. You know what I mean? So
injuries, Alex, just to let you know. The longest injury he's ever had was 17 days. That was in the season 1920. The most amount of days he's missed in a season was the 22-23 season. He missed 29 days. So basically, the worst injury season he's ever had, he missed 1 month of football. That's the worst he's ever had. But it wasn't in one go. It was 8 days there plus 13 days there. So worst case, if we go by history, Tonali misses a month. On average, he misses about 3 weeks of a season, which is really, for a football player, I think that's very good in the Premier League.
No, it's good. It's good. And that's why I'm a bit calm about it right at the moment. I'm calm. But it would be a worry if he does get injured though, still. Because he is our main player right now.
Of course.
And
top player. Like Harry Kane getting injured at Bayern's a problem. Rodri getting injured at Man City's a problem. Imagine Raya.
When he fell off. You saw when Man City fell off with Rodri when he went off injured, didn't you? You saw what happened, didn't you? You know?
Imagine Raya got injured at Arsenal, the goalie. They've got no level of goalie that replaces. Imagine what's his name? Freaking heck! I've had a complete brain.
You haven't had your breakfast still. You don't have your breakfast.
To be honest with you, I've woken up. I've had 1 cup of tea, and that's about it. I haven't had breakfast today. Yeah, but the point being, any key player in any team, if they get injured, the team's in trouble. Any squad, it's just with every team.
The likelihood of that happening, I would be very, very unlucky because we haven't got Europe, haven't we? So, and I just don't see us going
that's
for.
That's why I think we would. That's why I think if we get some goal scorers in this team, we can challenge for top 4. I'm not saying we'll get it. I think we can challenge for it because I saw Man United do it by signing 3 good forwards, and Sesko wasn't even wow, by the way. But they changed the goalie as well. Man United fixed their goalie issue. They got rid of Anana. They got a new goalie. But Spurs, if we go and get some goal scorers, why can't we challenge for top 4 1 game a week with the manager having a pre-season as well? Michael Carrick didn't have a pre-season, Alex. He took over a Man United team mid-season, falling apart. De Zerbi's starting the season fresh.
This is where you got some credence to what your point is. And it's going back to what I said. 5 of the top 6 teams are in transition. We are in transition as well, but with the signs that we're making at the moment and the low activity with people like Aston Villa and Newcastle at the moment gives us an advantage. All right? Even though I can admit that right now. I've not turned into this happy clapper right now. I'm not saying that I'm a De Zerbi disciple right now. I ain't that guy, right? Because that just doesn't happen anymore. I don't just believe in any managers anymore. It's the whole package in terms of that. You know, Lange, Vinay, the club, everything has to be aligning, and that's where I'm a bit question marks on that, right? But well, what we've got right now, especially the Tonali signing, right? It maybe give you credence, and with the fact that we've got one game a week, the fact that most of those teams in the top six have got Europe as well, right? I don't know if we're going to actually take the club seriously because I think they want top four. I think top four is what they. I think the league is where they're going to focus their main energy on, because that's where the money is at the end of the day. If a cup, it's a bonus. Only if we were like in Europe, possibly we'll take it more seriously because it gives you money and gives you more, especially for Europa League, you could get Champions League. And also the money we're spending as well. You know, you're not going to get a lot out of just getting a Carabao Cup. Let's be honest here. So yeah, I think credence to what your point is saying that we've got a chance of getting top four because we've got a chance. We've got a chance of getting into Europe at least because.
100% if we sign goal scorers, if we sign some real goal scoring attackers, 100% we can challenge.
The question can be asked with the signs we made. The question can be asked. Who's going
to challenge for top four next year? Arsenal. They're in Europe. They're going to be in all the competitions. Liverpool, Europe, all the competitions. Man United, Europe, all the competitions. Brighton are in Europe. Bournemouth are in Europe. All these teams are in Europe. Not having Europe, what else have we got to play for?
But that's why you're going to my point though. Still, this is why you're coming to my point. Most of those teams, some of the teams that you just mentioned, are either in Europe or have got transition. The only team that hasn't got transition is Arsenal. And to add to the point, you've got 3 teams that are coming up that I don't look at them and say I'm scared. I'm definitely not scared of Hull. Ipswich have just lost their manager, right? And brought in O'Neill. We don't know how that's going to work. He's a good coach, but we don't know how that's going to work. And Coventry is just unknown at the moment with Lampard. So to add all that to the fire right now, you know, there is a chance. There is a chance. You know what I mean? You know, there's no way that there's no chance. You know. Because what? Okay, I'll ask you a question. I
agree with you.
I'll ask you a question, yeah? Why is it this week, since we've signed all those players, that you see Mark Goldbridge, what's his face? The Chelsea fan.
Rory Jennings.
Rory Jennings. I haven't watched any other channel because I only
they're all actors. Their job is to create gossip, drama, and hype.
I know. But why are they doing that content for? Why are they doing that content for?
Money.
They're doing it for money, but why are they talking about Tottenham?
Because there's nothing that gets more clicks and likes than a rival fan bigging up a team.
Yeah, exactly. Why is that late?
Henry Wright has made a killing doing it, right? It's the Henry Wright model. Be a rival fan and big up the opposition team. It's the content game. Rory Jennings says whatever he feels in the moment that will get the likes and the clicks.
But that's the point. That's the point, though. Why is he making that point about Tottenham? Because he knows who's the most talked about right now and who's making the most action right now.
Tottenham.
Yeah, exactly. So they're flexing their muscle with the money, and now they're looking at it and thinking, how are they getting all this money with 17th? And now they're building a team that could actually threaten to get into the top 10, at least top 10.
That's right.
You know what I mean? There's a reason. Because these YouTubers don't just do it for willy-nilly. They're doing it because it's spoken about and they're getting some top players in. You know, because people wanted Fernandes. Whatever you think about Fernandes, people wanted Fernandes. Tottenham stole him.
Man United wanted him. Yeah, they did.
Exactly. Look how much upset it's caused with what is it, with other big YouTubers. Certain Man United fans didn't rate him, by the way. So Goldbridge doesn't represent everybody on this. Let me just say that right now, because
Alex, do you know what's interesting though? Right, hold on. Let me ask you this, because this is something I was going to bring up anyway. You've got the Rory Jennings and the Goldbridges and all the other actors sitting there. Tottenham are moving differently. Oh my God, how have we not got these players? How are Tottenham hijacking them off us? Then you've got that other Alice Talks Football.
Yeah.
Tottenham are smashing it and all, all the usual kind of thumbnails. And they're all doing it. And then you've got the Simon Jordans and some of the ex-pro football players on TalkSport all saying Tottenham have lost the plot. They're overspending. This isn't going to work. Some of these players aren't even proven at the level. So you've got two schools of thought. You've got the ex-chairman and ex-players saying one thing, and then you've got the YouTube content creators saying something different. I'm in the middle saying I think there's a lot of risk that we are taking, and some of it, in my head, doesn't add up. Some of it makes total sense. Where are you at with it? Because you talk about Rory Jennings and the Goldbridges and the Alices, but then the Simon Jordans and Troy Deeney's and whatnot, they're saying something very different.
I think you're looking at the two schools of thought here. There's the fan reaction and the ex-chairman, ex-player reaction.
That's my point. Which one do you believe?
I think I'm pretty much in the middle. I see their points. I see the points of Troy Deeney, and I do see the points of the chairman. Was it Simon Jordan? And I do think he's influenced by quite heavily by Daniel Levy as well, because he's got his number on speed.
They're friends, right there.
Yeah. I think it's quite heavily, So I see their point about certain players that we signed, because some of us don't rate some of the players that we signed. Some of them, I don't want to say too much on him because you'll get my views on them. But I think you got a spoiler on that like a couple of weeks ago on your channel. Andy Robertson, I think there's question marks on him. There's obviously what's his name, the goalkeeper we've got, question marks on him. If Braka
and Kinski, Kinski's going to be our number one next season.
Kinski, yeah. And I understand why Troy Deeney said what he said about Fernandes, because we said the same thing. So there's not, there is a, I think the only ones I think they're questioning. I didn't agree with his view on Van Heck's going to Tottenham as a not ambition or anything like that, because it's quite clear why he's gone to Tottenham, because of Zerbi, because he got on with him really well. Yeah, but
is he right about the ambition part?
He could have gone to a different team, but I think players do follow managers, don't they? So I think he should know that as well.
Jermaine Defoe follows Harry Redknapp everywhere.
Exactly. So Cratchyard followed Harry Redknapp as well. In the past.
Harry Redknapp's got like this cult following that he takes every club he goes to.
Exactly. So it is what it is. But you can see the argument. You can see the argument with Senesi, because Senesi could have gone to somebody else. But Tottenham sold the project to him. And he stuck to his word. So good on him for doing that. So I can see both sides. I'm not taking both sides, really. I just think they've all got their agendas. They both got the agendas, both sides. You know what I mean? But I see, because I understand why people are saying Tottenham are cooking. They could do something this season because of the circumstances, what we just mentioned, we've just spoken about already. So, yeah, my answer is that I can see both sides. I'm not particularly just on one particular side. Definitely not. I'm definitely not. You know what I mean?
All right, last one I want to talk about. for this week's cocktail of bombas. We got the here we go for Vuskovic. Brighton have signed Vuskovic for £46 million plus sell-on clause to bring the package to over £50 million. Massive signing for Brighton. Spurs ready to go all in for Tonali. This was just before the Tonali signing. So I think for me, Alex, right, there's a couple of things with this. Number one, I've never heard of a club spending £50 million in the Premier League for a kid who's never even played in the Premier League. 50 million for Vuskovic. I think that's wild from Brighton. Like, honestly, crazy money, crazy money. Number two, I think Spurs should have held on to Vuskovic because I did my research, I did my show on him, and he is a very, very good player. Very good player, and he's only getting better and better and better. Having said that, right, having said Brighton, that's a lot of money you've spent and we should have kept him. Do you know what? When you sign a player for 10 million and 2 years later, a club offers you £50 million, I think you've got to take it. Because you've got the Lubo school of thought is, no, keep him because one day he'll be 100 million, maybe. That's a maybe. The 50 million is guaranteed. So it's a bit like that game, deal or no deal. Do you want to keep playing the game and hope you open the box that says 100,000? Or do you take the guaranteed 50,000 that you've won so far? You take the 50,000. You don't take the risk or the assumption and gamble what might happen. And I think what Spurs have done is actually the right thing. As much as I want him to stay, I would have liked us to get rid of Danzo because I don't rate him. Romero wants out, sell him. Dragusin doesn't even play for us, get rid of him. And then I would have had Van der Ven, Senesi, Van Heck, and Vuskovic as the fourth choice centre-back. But apparently Vuskovic wasn't happy with that because he wants to be a starter. And unless he's starting, he wants out. He doesn't want a loan deal. So we were kind of forced into it, even though he's under contract. So when someone offers you 50 million for a 19-year-old, if that 50 million goes into signing a goal scorer who gets us 15, 20 goals next season, happy days. Great bit of business. So I think, Alex, as much as I want Vuskovic to stay at Tottenham, and I do, I think he's going to be a very good player. He is already a good player, to be honest with you. But I think he's going to be a very good player. 50 million, man, you can't say no to that. I don't think you can say no to that kind of money to reinvest back into the project we're building. What's your take on Vuskovic? Do you think Tottenham have done the right thing, or do you think we got this one wrong? You know, this is a future Ballon d'Or player. We should have kept him, developed him, forced him to stay. Where are you at with it?
I'm quite simple with this. Like I said in the analogy about Kingpin, Spider-Man Taz said to his son when he got arrested, sacrifices need to be made. And same with Vuskovic, sacrifices need to be made. Sacrifice needs to be made. Like, we can't be worrying about kids anymore. They're there to be sold. If we're not getting in the first team, we need to sell them. Get a sell-on clause and move it on. Get a buyback clause if you want to do that. If you're attached to the player, that's fine. But perfect. Get 50 million for him. Get a sell-on clause. Move on. Use that money to get somebody else in. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I don't know why this is such an issue. I don't know why it's such an issue. We were 17th for the last couple of years for a reason, and we want to rely on another kid.
Do you think, Alex, that our fans they are too emotionally attached to youngsters that they cling on to the hope that they become brilliant for Tottenham rather than the reality of what we're trying to build in that particular season? And then they get a bit over the top with, oh, we should have kept Vuskovic. Oh, what have we done? Oh, whereas I want Vuskovic to stay. And I said it, I want him to stay, but 50 million, I don't think you say no to that. I don't think
it was the right decision because the guy, the player wanted to leave. The player wanted to leave.
Yeah, he did. With the
So,
reports.
so it made the decision for them, basically. It made the decision for them. That's why I'm not giving them too much credit. Yes, well done for actually selling the player. But the test of time is with people like Bergvall and Archie Gray. Knowing to when you need to cut the umbilical cord. You know what I mean? That he already cut that umbilical cord when he said, I want to leave. So like it made the decision for him. So unfortunately, to answer the question, the fans are just deluded. I'm sorry. There's no doubt about it. I'm sorry, they're deluded. And the thing is, the thing that's so fascinating about our fans, yeah, right? They take so much emotion out of this. They have more emotion out of this than the Prime Minister leaving the bloody couple of weeks ago. You know what I mean? They won't take that more seriously than what's going on here. They take this more seriously than the Prime Minister leaving. You know what I mean? You know, that's how silly our fans are. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, but it's just like, what's more important, that or this? It's like, come on now, Vucevic, for me, is no different to some of the players that we've had before. Yes, he might be got a much more bigger ceiling out there, but like, it's not about what you can do; it's what you can do for me now. And the problem is that we've been looking at people that we're going to do for me later on, rather than what we can do now. That's why I've been 17th for the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Because the reason why, and people say, "Oh, you can't blame Archie Gray and Bergvall," but since Archie Gray and Bergvall were in the team, we were losing games. And then who comes into the team? But what is it now? Bentancur, I mean, and Bentancur,
Bentancur, Madison,
and changes Tottenham's fortunes with Gallagher that people had an issue with, and Paulinho. And the main thing was, I know people didn't like Frank. But Frank wasn't losing games with the likes of Bentancur and Paulinho in the team. When them two were together, yeah, go on.
I think Frank started losing games when he stopped being Frank. When he tried to be the attacking manager, when he tried to be what Tottenham fans wanted to see, when he tried to be different, it completely fell apart on him. If he just stuck to what he knew and what he was good at, he might have survived. But he tried to be, you know what it is, Alex? It's the classic example. Small-time manager goes to a big-time club or a bigger club. Well, not big time. A bigger club can't handle the expectation, can't handle the pressure when it kicks in. There's no pressure at Brentford. At Tottenham, when the going gets tough, you either stick to your ways or you slightly pivot. He tried to adapt so much, it just all fell apart on him. And he was really stubborn with some shit players, like always playing Moani, dropping Paulinho. This was nonsense, man. Like he made, but I don't think the real Frank makes those decisions at Brentford. I think at Brentford, he would have seen that and said, right, I need to drop Moani. I've got to keep playing Paulinho. But at Tottenham, the pressure got to him. And he just started making really stupid decisions. He couldn't handle it.
Mm. I know. I mean, I've seen that people are hating me in the chat, which is normal. So I'm not going nowhere. So thank you very much. I mean, but you know, calling me tired.
No one's hating you. No one's hating you.
Yeah, there's one person in the chat saying "call me tired," but you know that's just normal.
Alex, I've been called out on my own show today as well. Don't worry about it. I get called.
Oh no, it's normal. But no, it's not that. It's just interesting. It's like, you know, what do you want? You want me to be a happy clapper and just say what you want? It's just like, honestly, it's ridiculous. But you know, we move on. But yeah, you're right. Listen, I'm gonna be, like I said, we're gonna have to get rid. We had to get rid, and we got rid of them. And that's the sort of behaviour I expect from Tottenham now. If we're gonna do well, you can't be nice about it. You've got to be ruthless about it now, because you know we're not going to get anywhere doing what would, you know, being nice and keeping players just to hang around. You know, I know. In the past we had Foy, that end up, he was hanging about, and then Pochettino used him, and he saw the best out of him. But then he ended up going. Gareth Bale in the past, I understand that. But this is why I say that if we're not going to learn these things, we might have just got relegated last season. We might as well just got relegated last season. We're not learning. So, Vucevic will be beneficial to go and play football at Brighton, and it's the best team for him, Brighton. They wanted him more, and we just have to just suck up and just take it on the chin. He wanted to leave as well, so there's not really much of an issue here still. There's not much of an issue here still, to be honest with you.
I don't think so. I don't think that's an issue.
I think it's a standard sort of thing. Newcastle had to sell Anderson. They had to sell Anderson because of FFP. Loads of teams have had to sell their players. So Tottenham are not alone in this.
I think we sold Vuskovic because we got an unbelievable deal. 50 million for a 19-year-old in the Premier League.
£50 million it can't be sniffed at, and he wants to leave.
Yeah.
It's the same with Bergvall. If you get the money from Bergvall, get rid.
I don't even think we're going to get a 50 million for Romero.
I know. So it gets to a point where you just got to match it and say, okay, if you can't get the money that you want for Romero, you need to get the money somewhere.
Do you know what frustrates me the most? Like, I was looking at all the signings, the players that have gone, the players that have come in, and what we're trying to do. And do you know what we need right now, Alex? Do you know what Tottenham need right now more than anything? This.
Yeah.
And
that's stupid, though, mate.
Right? If we had Kane and Son, the Kane and Son we had now, I'm just thinking, you know what? A lot of people defend Levy, not going to mention names, and a lot of fans defend Levy. We wouldn't be able to spend the money we did now if it wasn't for Levy. But this guy, right? This guy not building a squad when we had Kane at the club, and you saw what Kane did for England the other night, is the most criminal, treacherous thing anybody has done at Tottenham Hotspur. To have prime Kane and prime Son and not have built a squad around them. And people say, oh, but look at the money we spent. It's because of Levy. We spent £900 million under Levy in 6 years, and we signed absolute shit. We signed crap after crap. We signed players that the managers didn't even want. We didn't even keep the managers. Daniel Levy didn't stick with a manager, didn't have a philosophy embedded into the football club of how we want to play, didn't have a consistent transfer policy. He alone fucked it, mismanaged all the finances in terms of how we spent money and how we sold players when it came to transfers. And because of him, we fucked it when we had these two. And now we have finally got rid of Levy. Now it looks like, and I'm saying looks like because we don't know yet, it looks like we're trying to do the right thing and build a squad of actual good players. We didn't do it when we had these two, man. And for that reason alone, anyone who defends Levy, I'm sorry, you're a football criminal. You're an absolute
the reason why I tend to agree with you is that
Alex, they're the missing pieces, those elite finishers.
This is where I agree with you. Look at what Tuchel's doing with what is it? Harry Kane in the England squad. He's basing the whole team around him, which is what Mourinho was trying to do, basically, basing the whole team around Harry Kane and Son. And he wanted certain players, but I think he can only work to what the hierarchy were going to give him. And this is where we went wrong. Someone had the saying to me, and I'm not going to mention the name because I know people don't really like this person. Said that whenever Mourinho comes in, you do whatever Mourinho wants. Because if you do what Mourinho wants, you've got a winner there. You know what I mean? He always goes and wins trophies. He done that at Chelsea. He did that in Milan. He did that in other teams as well, right? So, and even with certain players that you don't really rate, he still, if you get what he wants, he's a dangerous guy, especially his first couple of seasons, right? It only tends to fall off after the first season or something like that when he has a ruckus with the ownership or the players or whatever it is. Yeah. So we didn't do that, and that's what cost us. And you could see, and I knew straight away that we were getting him for false pretenses, because we're getting him for top four when he's all about trophies, right? So yeah, that's where we went wrong. And you see it with Tuchel, the way he's using Kane and saying this is a team and we're going to base it all around Kane. That's why the likes of Foden's not in the team, and others as well that are not in the team as well. I forgot his name, the Chelsea lad. So Tuchel he used him. He done this at Bayern Munich as well, based the team around Kane as well, because he was his main player. So we didn't utilize him as best we could, and Kane was just was playing off scraps. The only reason why Kane was called a loser, in my opinion, is that he didn't think about his career, because it was clear that we're not going to win trophies with him. There was opportunities there to win trophies with him, and it didn't happen, and he wasn't getting us over the line himself. So, there was a time when he was just sitting there thinking, you know what, I've got to think about my people need to go.
Kane and Son have got the Premier League record for the best partnership of any duo in Premier League history. Facts. They were dynamite. They were absolute. They are a massive reason why Pochettino's team was knocking on the door. The reason we didn't win trophies with them, one of the biggest reasons, is we never built a squad. I don't want to talk about them, but it's a good example. Arsenal won fuck all under Arteta. Nothing. For years and years and years and years. But once they built the squad, they won the league, almost won the Champions League, went to penalties. We never built a squad with Kane and Son. We always had a good starting 10, but we never had, 16 good players or 18. We never had that. And in the Premier League, to not have a squad, it's very difficult to win stuff. So for me, it's criminal. It's criminal to have two of the most elite players the Premier League seen up front as a partnership, and to not. And now we're crying out for it. Now we're like, oh look, we've got a really, really good team. Oh, we need Kane and Son. Too late.
Yeah, you can see how it is now, because we did have elite strikers. Because look at the striker market right now. That's why I'm saying that I wouldn't mind somebody like a Danny Welbeck at the moment, but at least he can hold up the ball and he's got experience. Because I look at some of those strikers at the moment, I don't see anybody better than Danny Welbeck right now. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that he's the perfect thing at the moment, but when you're looking at somebody like Krupi, 19 years old, one season in the Premier League, £90 million. I think that's a huge risk on somebody that's 19 years old. I think that's a huge risk. Yeah, I know he's had a good season, but we all know players can have a very good season and they can fall off after a couple of seasons after that. You know what I mean? Especially when they're 19, they need to go through their bad period. I don't need to think of his name now. The Chelsea lads that went to Chelsea and went from Chelsea, from Man City to Chelsea. I forgot his name now. Yeah, it's going to come back to me anyway. Had a really good season at Chelsea, and a really good season, his first season at Chelsea, and then got himself in the England squad. He had a good season, and then look at him now. He's not even in the England squad now. Cole Palmer. You know what I mean? He had a good season under Chelsea at Chelsea's first season, and then since then he's fell off a little bit. You know what I mean? Dele Alli had a couple of good seasons, fell off after a while. You know what I mean? Because we know the circumstances now a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't think you can just bet on somebody that's just had one season in the Premier League and think that they're going to just hit the ground running. I mean, I think Liverpool bought in. Oh gosh, now I'm just really struggling with names now. Who's it? No, was it? Oh, I forgot now. The
Florian
Liverpool
Wirtz.
squad. Yeah, Florian Wirtz. There was somebody else as well, the winger that they got. No, the right back they got. The right back they got. Kurikes, or I think his name was.
Kirkes. Played for France.
Yeah. He came from Bournemouth and he had a fantastic season.
A TK as well.
Yeah, had a fantastic season at Bournemouth. Kurikes.
Yeah, but Alex, do you know something? I think Iriola, with those players, is going to turn them into a really good side. I've told everyone, I think Iriola is going to need a little bit of time, but when they click, I think Liverpool are going to be dynamite under Iriola. I think Iriola is pound for pound one of the best managers in the Premier League. He's brilliant. He's absolutely fantastic. He loses his best players and then goes again and does better. I think he's going to cook at Liverpool. I actually think.
Is that because of the Bournemouth system, or that's the question I asked?
Because of him. I just think he's a very good manager. If you look at the work he did in Spain, he got to semi-finals and to league positions with low-level teams that have never achieved that in their. He's always gone to a club and elevated them to levels they've never achieved before. He did it in Spain. He's done it at Bournemouth now, and I think he's going to do it with Liverpool. I think he's going to cook. I really do. I think he's going to do a great job at Liverpool. Not straight away, because there's some problems that need sorting out there, but he's got to sort out that back line. He needs a couple of new defenders. They're lacking. They're not the players they were.
They need to get some defenders, definitely. They need to get some people in that midfield that are defensive as well. But I listen, you know, I mean, we were talking about Vucevic, weren't we? I think it was.
Maybe Alex, because I've got to wrap up in 3 minutes because I've got a meeting at 12 o'clock. I know it's 12 o'clock for you, but it's 12 o'clock for me. Let's answer this one quickly, and then we'll wrap up the show. Jerome2144, thank you for your super chat. He says, question for you both. What kind of squad are we building under De Zerbi?
A squad that's going to be more on the front foot, playing sort of free-flowing attacking football. From what I saw, and trying to do the system that he wants to do, implement, that he had at Brighton, I think, at the moment. I think it's going to be a very hard-working sort of pressing team that he want very lot of energy from as well, because the Tonali signing signals that, Fernandes signing signals that, but you have to be able to play on the floor as well, which indicates that with Kinski in goal, and you've got Senesi and Van Het. And what else was there? I think there's another defender as well, which I can't. Well, Andy Robertson as well, because he's been in that sort of environment as well. So the only thing that I think and especially with looking at players like Savinho, Leao, these sort of players, they're very much sort of the mould that have been in that sort of environment and sort of team. So I think that's what we're looking at the moment in terms of what the sort of team we're going to be playing. More possession-based sort of football, high-obtain, pressing football as well.
I think we're going to sign, beg your pardon, we're going to sign players who are possession-based football players who are going to, as a team, play out from the back, progress it into the midfield, or send long diagonal balls out wide and up the flanks. And I think we're going to be a very pressing team. I think we're going to do a two-man press where two players press on the ball at the same time. It's not 1-1-1. I think we're going to double up. And essentially what you're going to see is the team that Ange wanted to build, but without inverting the fullbacks. The fullbacks are going to be wide. and a defense that will play a high line, but not a suicidal one. It'll know when to drop. It'll know when to push. So what we're going to see, the squad we're going to build is the one that Ange wanted to build, but with some defensive intelligence. And I think it's going to be closer to a Pochettino team, but not quite, because De Zerbi, I feel, plays the counter-attacking game a bit more than what Poch did. So you're going to get a mixture of Ange, Poch, and that'll be the De Zerbi type model. I do think he's going to go for a 4-3-3, but I think he'll also adapt it. I think he's not scared to change it if he has to, and I think he's actually quite good at it as well. So players that fit that type of system and that way of playing. I don't think he's going to sign any forward that can't press, which is why when people say get Vuskovic, I'm like, no, don't get Vuskovic. He can't press. His pressing is awful. So as much as he might have got goals 2-3 years ago, he hasn't really got goals recently. He doesn't press. So there's no point signing Vuskovic. I think that's why.
Oh, you're talking about a Juventus player. You're talking about.
Yeah. Not Vuskovic. Sorry, Vlahovic. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry, guys. Thanks for correcting me. Vlahovic. There's no point signing Vlahovic. He can't press, and that then means that every domino after doesn't fall, because the first one triggers the rest to move, especially if you're going to hunt in packs. So I think he's going to sign strikers and wide forwards that know how to press and are good at it, because I think that's key to the way he's going to want to play.
Gakpo would be a good signing, I think, for Tottenham. Gakpo, Mamouche, all these players, even though I would say they're not the best out there, but we're not going to get the best, are we? But if you can get a Gakpo and Mamouche, or that USA player, American player,
Robinson.
No.
Balogun.
Yeah, Balogun.
You know, Alex, 4 years ago, I spoke about Balogun because I watched him play in the academy system. I watched Balogun play for Arsenal's academy, and he was frightening. Like, he was smashing records. And I remember saying, guys, this Balogun guy's decent. And then he got into the Arsenal team, and whatever happened is they sold him. I would go for Balogun.
I'm looking for more striker. I think you need a striker that can hold up the ball, though. I think hold up the ball and can press. I'm not really concerned about.
I don't think De Zerbi needs players that hold up the ball. I don't think we're going to be that team.
Well, I'm just because I don't think you're going to get a striker that's going to score goals. That's the thing. I think you're going to get. I think you got to focus on the inside forwards to score the goals. I think, for me. So I think the main point of call with the striker, I think you need to either just get if people say Thiago.
Alex, hold on a minute. I disagree. I think we need the number 10 to score. We need the left winger, the right winger, and the striker. All four need to score. Just like when we had Kane, Son, Dele Alli, Ericsson, all four would score. If we're going to play this football, Fernandes doesn't score goals. Tonali doesn't score goals. Bentancur doesn't score goals. Robertson's goals have fallen off a cliff. Maybe Porro, maybe. But where are the goals coming from? I think we need 4 of the attackers have to score. I don't think the number 10 needs to score as many goals as the wide forwards. But
but where are you going to find that? The point I'm making is that I don't. If you're going to get a goal scorer, you're either going to get a goal scorer in these places like Portugal, or France or wherever, that are not used to this sort of environment, right? So they're going to go on confidence, right? Or you're getting somebody in the Premier League and you're spending a lot of money on them. You get what I'm saying? So my idea is that, yeah, we do need goals, but I would like a striker that can at least hold up the ball, right? To get players into play like Solanke could do, right? And then my idea is that you have the inside forwards scoring the goals as well as the number 10. You know what I mean? So at least then you've got something. You know what I mean? Because I think that's where. Because I struggle to find the strikers that are. I know I've mentioned Gabpo, but if you can't get Gabpo,
one second. If he's going to hold up the ball, that means we're going to send the ball long. I don't think we're going to play that kind of football. I think we're going to be playing it short, sharp, quick. Maybe the odd diagonal ball to switch the play from left back to right flank to get the winger away. I don't think there's going to be situations where the ball comes to the striker for him to hold up the ball. I just don't think we're going to play that way. I think we need a striker that can receive the ball on the half turn, spin a man, get a shot away, or receive the ball, beat a player, assist, shoot, score. I don't think holding up the ball is going to be important for this team, the way we're going to play. I get why you want it, so he can feed in the wide attackers. I get that, because that's kind of what Firmino used to do for Salah and Mane. But I don't think we're going to play that way. If we play the way you say, then yeah, it makes sense. But I don't think it's going to do that.
I think you're going to struggle to find a striker that's scoring loads of goals. I think you're going to struggle to find that at the moment. I think you're taking a big chance, and we've done that with Mawani. And we've done it before. I think a lot of these strikers are more on confidence, or they've got a bit of an ego, and that's a bit of a risk for me. You know what I mean? But I do think if you can go for like a Gakpo or a Mamouche or a Balogun at the moment, because they've got Premier League experience, I think you could go for that and see what happens. But you need to have a system for them still. You know, they've got to fit your system. If they don't fit your system, there's no point in buying them in, because you know you've got to have. I think that's where we've gone wrong. We've got the striker in, thinking, "Oh, he's good. Let him just do what he wants to do. Just let him do what he wants to do," and then he ends up being pony because we don't. You know, we didn't really think about how he's going to fit in the team. You know, with the players that we've got. Is he going to be able to acclimatise to the squad that we've got, really? So I think it's a very, very important decision to make if you're going to get a striker in and thinking that he's going to just hit the ground running. If you want to get somebody that's in, they've got to fit the system. That's why Bournemouth have done really well with their strikers, because they've obviously done a lot of research on them and looked at the players that they've got currently in the squad, and they've said, okay, this is the way we play. This guy can, come in and hit the ground running. That's what's happened with Krupi. They've obviously done a lot of research on him, looked at his background, looked at the way he's played in France, which is League 2, by the way, League 2 in France. And they said, okay, this guy, he's got the numbers, but also he fits the way that we want to play, and that's why maybe he's hit the ground running, and that's why people are starting to realise, he's really hot property at the moment. He's the talk of the town at the moment. I can't think of the saying that I was going to say now. Flavour of the month, flavour of the summer, flavour of the summer. That was it. So yeah, like I say, still another analogy for you. You can have a puzzle. You can have a puzzle with all these players, right? But you have that shape that you want to buy in. But if you keep on buying different shapes of player, it's not going to fit into that puzzle, isn't it? You can try and fit it. You can try and squeeze it in that puzzle.
I get it. It's got to suit the system. I get it.
It just doesn't. You can't. If you keep us trying to force it in, it's gonna break the system. You know what I mean? And break make it mushy and stuff. And that's what we've been doing. Because we've been so desperate and we're thinking, we need to get this perfect player. There's no perfect player. So you got to think about how this player fit in with the system that he's played in to fit in our system, to make the puzzle fit. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
All righty. We're going to wrap it up, people. It's been 2 hours. I've got to go. I've got a meeting in less than a minute. So for those of you in the chat, there was a conversation about Fernandes played under a defensive manager last year. That's why his stats were what they are. And I said, well, he played for Southampton, who were an attacking team, and they got relegated. And Fernandes had the stats were similar there. And then someone decided to try and change the argument and say, oh, but that's Southampton. The argument wasn't whether it's Southampton or not, it's whether it's an attacking team or a defensive team. He's played in both and the stats were the same. And then obviously people come in not reading the context and saying, that's a shit argument. We haven't read the actual argument itself. So please read everything before posting your knee-jerk reactions. On that bombshell, check out Mr. Box Office. Check out his channel, The Professor of Truth and Entertainment. Spoiler alerts left, right, and center. Check him out. I'll be back probably on Thursday, I think. I'm going to do a live show because I'm traveling to, where am I going? Lithuania. So I'm going to be in an airport for a while. I might just go live in the airport and do a show. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. Until the next episode, look after yourselves. Have a good Sunday. Alex, see you later as well.
See you later. I'm out.